Hello once again, Wildcats, and welcome to the final edition of Coach's Corner presented by Atrium Health. My name is Paul Roper, joined by Davidson head football coach Thakkar as the Cats get ready for Senior Day against the Dayton Flyers to close out the 2025 season. Let's reflect on what happened up in the Hudson Valley over the weekend. The Cats came into the second half tied at 10, although Maris pulled away in the second half. Now that you've time to review some of the films, what were some of the takeaways from that game against the Red Foxes?
Yeah, you kind of said it right there, Paul. It was a tale of two halves. I think we came out strong. Effort, energy, physicality, we all showed up early in the first half. And then, when the second half tied, brand new ball game. Credit to Maris' staff. They made some adjustments, and we didn't quite have the answers we needed on our end, and shot ourselves in the foot a little bit with some penalties and some mishaps getting behind the sticks. And really, the game came down to two kind of key aspects. One was explosive plays. Maris had 6 20-plus yard plays. We had 3. And then the rushing battle, they averaged about double the amount on yards per carry as we did. So games in late November, if you're letting teams, execute big plays, you can't run the football, you're going to have some issues. So that's kind of what we ran into late in that game.
One of your freshmen, Hudson Altenberg, came down with probably the biggest hit I've seen since I became the broadcaster for the Wildcats 4 years ago. That led to a forced fumble and recovery for the Cats. And this is a kid who I think if he continues to put on some muscle and get some good food over the next 4 years, boy, he could become a real player. I mean, where does that hit rank among the hits that you've seen on the sidelines as a coach?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome to see a kid who, put his body on the line, did whatever he could. We knew we needed to try to get the ball back to sneak an extra possession there. Unfortunately, we weren't able to capitalize, but yeah, it was an awesome play. And I think, on the day he had 11 tackles. He actually had 2 forced fumbles. He had another one that Maris came up with. But he's, when you talk about it, just a really good football player. That's what that kid is. And, he's going to keep developing. We love having him here, plays the game the right way. He's a great teammate. So, super excited for his future in our program.
Another player I'd like to talk about who has made some contributions this year after he didn't play last season is one of your seniors, and that's Dallas Brown. Dallas Brown has really come through, I think, over the past few months, and it's nice to see him contribute after he didn't get much playing time in the last few years. What do you have to say about how he's improved from when you first viewed him at your first camp to what will likely be his final collegiate game on Saturday?
Yeah, like you said, he's a kid who's just grown each and every week, and he came back this spring and with the program and did some good things in spring ball. And, he knew and we knew that for him to be effective, he really had to develop over the summer. He probably put on 15, 20 pounds of muscle in between last offseason and going into this fall. And with that growth, he just became that much of a better player. He can hold up at the line of scrimmage. He's a kid who wants to be coached, who does everything you ask. I'm glad to see him have some success that he's having this year.
He's one of 15 seniors that's going to be honored this weekend at the Senior Day ceremony. That really speaks to how young this team is. I mean, a lot of freshmen and sophomores came through this year, but you had seniors that made some vital contributions as well. Talk a little bit about what it means to honor this senior class as they get ready to take Field 76 for the final time on Saturday.
Yeah, I think what's special about this group and really, any group when they go through a coaching change, especially late in their career, the ability for them to stick together. And for me, it's important that we send them off in the right way. We're going to do whatever we can to play a great game this week and get a win. They deserve it. They've welcomed us in with open arms. We're not the staff that recruited them. They came here to play for, but you never know that. They've bought into everything we've asked them to. They've shown great respect to the team. They've been great teammates. They've been really good leaders in the community and on campus. So they deserve a great game. They deserve a proper send-off, and we're hoping to do that for them this weekend.
What are some of the positives you're going to take away from your first season as Davidson head coach?
Yeah, I think just being able to start to establish our culture and how we want to do things here and how we want to operate. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. There's a million ways to win football games. We do things a certain way. We were able to install new schemes in offense, defense, and special teams and bring in a lot of new guys and, try to build this program, how we want it ran. I thought our guys bought into it. Obviously, we have a lot of improvement to make in the offseason, starting with our physical improvement as we get into the winter and strength and conditioning. But the energy at practice has been awesome. Our staff's worked really hard. Our players have worked really hard. Overall, losing is never fun. But the times in the practice field, the times in the weight room, in the meeting rooms, joking around with the players, building those relationships that are going to last a lifetime. That's what you remember, and that's what's important. And I know the guys coming back are ready to get back to work come this winter.
Well, you've already touched on some of the off-season things that you want to do, and I'm sure recruiting will be a big thing. When you talk about the scholar athletes that you want to recruit to Davidson, what are the types of players that you're looking for to be part of the class of 2026 entering Davidson?
Yeah, obviously we have to find the best of the best, right? We got to find kids that can do it academically here at Davidson, which is, significantly harder than almost all of our competitors. We need a kid that really the number one criteria is they got to love football. And they got to love what goes into football and really what it takes to win at a high level. And if we can find kids that love football, they obviously have to have a certain skill set, right, that we're looking for on tape. We need our quarterbacks to throw the ball a certain way, our running backs to run the ball a certain way. But if they love football, if their high school coaches say they're great leaders, they're tough, they're physical, they're 100% bought in, and they're great teammates, like that's kind of the prerequisite for us. And those are the type of kids we're recruiting. Our class is off to a great start, and we're looking to finish it here over the next month or two.
Finally, it's Dayton on Saturday to close out the season. That's a program that's been a model of consistency in the PFL for a couple of decades. A team that plays Davidson tough no matter what, no matter who's on the roster. What are some of the things that we should expect from the Flyers on Saturday?
Yeah, their defense, I think, is one of the best we've seen, maybe the best we're going to see all year. When you take a look kind of at their body of work, what they do both schematically and their personnel, their guys are able to handle a lot. You're going to see a bunch of different fronts and coverages, and they got a couple guys that really fly around and hit and go after the football. And then offensively, they've really figured out how to run the football as this year's gone on. They use their quarterbacks in the run game. They played a few different quarterbacks over the last couple of weeks, so they give you a lot to prepare for. They got some athletes that can take the top off and create some big plays. So they're a really talented team, a well-coached team, an experienced team. So, we got our work cut out for us. Got to have a great game plan to get this one done.
Well, let's hope we can get it done. Final game of Field 76 for this season. We look forward to it.
That's right. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you.
He's head coach Thakkar. My name is Paul Roper. We hope you'll join us for the Senior Day ceremonies here at Field 76. Kickoff will be at 1 p.m. If you can't join us at Field 76, you can listen into our Pepsi pregame show starting at 12:30 on WHIP, the Varsity app, and the Davidson Sports Network from Learfield, and Toe Meets Leather at 1 p.m. from Field 76 at Davidson College Stadium between the Wildcats and the Flyers. For head coach Thakkar, my name is Paul Roper. Thank you for tuning in all season long to Coach's Corner presented by Atrium Health.